Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our 41st weekly call. I'm your host, Jen McEwen. Let's make this a little bit different. Hi, I'm your host, Jen McEwen. This is our 41st weekly call at UpRock. Hashtag this week is back to utility. I'm going to bring up Jesse and Christopher. What's up, guys?
Good morning.
Hello.
Hey,
hello.
Chris.
How's everyone
You guys
today?
doing? Pretty good. Hello, hello.
How's
Hey,
that?
Drew, what's up?
Hey, Drew. Hey, Sasha. Hey, Klaus. Sergio. Tufi. Raz. Good to see you guys. So how's everyone's Thursday so far? Or week and Thursday? I guess our Thursday just started here in Seattle.
Yeah, we just started. So far, so good.
Not
I
bad.
like your coat, Chris. It must be a nice cold 80-degree day, huh? In Arizona.
It's not even 80 out here. It might be as low as like 70. It's a little cold out here. I had to toss a jacket on. But off to a good start. We found one of the ghosts in the machine this morning, a little bug that's been annoying me for weeks. It's related to one of our partners' rollouts actually, but just these numbers just weren't right. They didn't add up. Now they add up. That makes me happy.
Nice.
But you can tell it's a good morning when I got coffee and a cigar before lunch. So it's one of those days.
Yes. Well, is that an Irish coffee?
I'm not that much of a degenerate, Jen. Not that happy. It's Thursday. I'm working. Come on.
Okay. All right, guys. So let's get into this week's agenda. We're going to go over obviously our introductions. Hello. Some little chat about what's happening in the market with in the past few weeks. We have some highlights, some UpRock updates on our application or our mobile apps. We have some information on our Prism soft launch, and then to our hashtag of the week, back to utility. We'll go into that, and then we're out of here, and we'll see you next week. So let's get started. So first off, we have here's a tweet from Tufi, tokenomics. The easiest thing these days is scamming CT people, crypto Twitter people. Stay safe out there, fam.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
It's
been a week.
there's been a lot of it going around. I saw a really interesting one, and this one isn't even related or relegated solely to Twitter. I saw a really interesting one the other day. So when you need to send somebody some stable coins or some crypto for the first time, what do? Well, if you're a belt and suspenders guy like me, you send them like a very small transaction first. Ask them to tell you, hey, how much did I send you? And then you send the rest because you want to make sure you got their address right and everything. Don't make a mistake. So the one I saw, I had one of our wallets, and I was sending to somebody who's been doing some work for us for the first time to their wallet. So I sent them one stable coin, and then wandered off, didn't think about it for a little bit, waited until they sent me a message and said, yeah, I got it, and it's all good and whatever. And when I went back and looked at our wallet, I saw multiple transactions, and I actually freaked the fuck out. I'm like, oh my God, I was using a ledger for this. How the hell did it get compromised? Like, tinfoil hat on, turn off the lights, hide under the couch, like something spooky is going on. And then I started really looking at the transaction history. And so what happened is I found this wallet that is apparently looking for transactions from a wallet where the wallet has some stable coins in it and sends like $1 or something like that, a common amount for a test. And then what it does is it transfers a fake USDC token into your wallet. But this is a fake USDC token whose transfer authority remains with the original mint address. So it then subsequently transfers that back out of your wallet to an address that looks similar to the one that I had originally sent it to. So the first two or three letters of the address and the last two letters were the same as the real address. And if I wasn't paying attention, what do? You go to your wallet, you select, I just sent $1 to somebody, right? So that's clearly the right address. I select that address, I hit send again, I type in, quite a few dollars, and then I hit send, and now I've sent it to their address instead of to the one that I really intended to. And this was super subtle, because when you look in the wallet, you actually see I'm not going to call out the wallet because I don't think they did anything wrong. This is something where the wallets need to get better at detecting whether you signed the transfer or whether another authority signed the transfer. But if you looked in the wallet, you actually saw the transactions, and because they had named the token USD T something or whatever, it actually looked like it would have been very easy. Like, what was the last transaction I did? My test transaction. Just hit send again, and it would have gone to this phishing address.
Oh,
Jesus.
crazy.
So what is the what's the way to like watch out for this besides looking at the entire wallet address for a 1 or 2 character off?
Well, I think I think there's a couple answers to this. Number one is if you know you're going to be sending to if exactly what Drew just said, why they're going to aliases. If you know you're going to be sending to somebody on multiple occasions, either use their alias because then you know it's good, or save the address specifically. So when you send it to them, say, you know, so and so's wallet, whatever, and save it. And then next time you send, go by that name that you've already saved, because then you know it's really the same address. The other one to look for is just to look out. So one thing that can't be done in this is that you actually sign the transactions. So if you yeah, exactly, Tufan. So if you go to like the block explorer, you will see that you didn't. If you look at like the token transactions or the sub token transactions, it'll show you token in, token out, all of that. But if you look at the actual transactions that you signed, you won't see an associated transaction with that because, of course, you didn't sign it; somebody else signed it. And so this is where you just have to be really, really careful with that kind of thing. Anyway, so yeah, it's out there and everybody needs to be careful. And this is also a reminder why the things we're working on with like the chain analysis and chain intelligence and that the power of the community is so important to be able to gather this kind of stuff together and keep people from falling into these problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shit. Thanks for sharing that. That's yeah, that is pretty scary. So what Tufan was saying, that this is called a dusting attack. And yeah, I definitely think that we're definitely going to need to be going for aliases for addresses more. There's obvious, but as we're bringing on more people who are not in Web3 already or not proficient in it, there's going to just have to be a lot easier experience and secure. Like you have to do your own work, but sometimes for retail you can't do that much work. You can't expect them to do that much work.
Well, yeah, this is also where exactly things like names, things like building a better experience really do come in. I mean, if you think about the earliest days of the internet, you needed to know IP addresses, sort of before the DNS. And I don't know, IP address, we go to domain names. And on top of that, over the years, we've built SSL and all of these layers of interoperability and ease of use and all that kind of stuff. So I think exactly you're actually starting to see the same thing happen in the crypto space, which is like full on, binary addresses are, or encoded binary addresses are extremely inconvenient. And it's sort of funny. I think if you talk to some early crypto people, they'll be like, oh, well, people who can't figure that out just shouldn't read, whatever. There's a certain amount of gatekeeping around it. But the reality is, no, that's a shitty user experience. We know that. That's a shitty user experience. Developers can do better, and we need to do better, and we should, and we are. And that's why this is all getting easier to use and more mainstream.
Are you aware of any projects that are working on this specifically?
Well,
there's a lot of companies working on the overall experience. We're working on the overall experience, right? That's why we haven't gone.
Like how the early web had, we had eventually DNS. Are we aware of any like projects that are working on a crypto?
Solana already has the beginnings of it with the name service, .sol and stuff like that, and other chains are following suit. There's not, this isn't going to happen overnight. I think this is going to be a gradual thing that happens over the next few years, where it just gets better and easier to use. Potentially I could see a day that happened, for instance, where the wallets come up with some protocol to exchange like address information, so that when you find somebody's address one way or another, you can be relatively confident who you're sending it to. Like, let's take if we in the US here, we have this payment system called Zelle, which certainly gets used for plenty of scams on its own. But one nice thing about it is if you put in somebody's phone number and their name, and that person is registered with that phone number and that name on Zelle, it will actually match it up and show you who you're actually, yep, you found the right Chris by my phone number, so you can be sure you're sending it to the right person. And so, there's obviously a real balance between privacy on the blockchain and so on. But they're definitely, we look at apps like Signal, which are great at doing this kind of matchmaking, even while remaining and preserving privacy and integrity and stuff like that. So I think this technology will continue to get better on the blockchain. And this, this is why we haven't rushed into having a full-fledged wallet. This is why we're going bit by bit, and just trying to only release things that are sort of safe and easy to use for our users.
Yeah, and what Tupan is saying here, and that's exactly why we experience friction when even when so many things run smoothly. The more challenging aspects often exist to protect users, even if they sometimes negatively impact sentiment.
The phone number thing is interesting. So T-Mobile's here in Seattle, their headquarters, and so they actually sponsor a lot of the Web3 events in Seattle, and they're really into. They're actually doing stuff with helium and crypto, and it's pretty interesting for a big company. A lot of times big companies move slow. But they're doing things, so they're thinking about that a lot, the phone number, because that's how you also get scammed. But that's also a really interesting way to, like, how do you make the phone number? How do you make your phone? A lot of people keep one number for the rest of their life, Yeah. So how do you make that part of the crypto experience?
Like your identity or something, part of your identity.
It's like your Venmo username. Instead of your Venmo username could be your phone number, but also the phone number is an issue with two-factor. People it has been proven that people can hack that.
So absolutely. So I'm not saying that phone number is necessarily a good way or the best way. It certainly shouldn't be a long-term way. But just pointing out that there's a lot of ways of making this easier and a lot of pieces that could go into this. So
yeah. Well, I'm not sure about Web3, but certainly when it comes to frictionless ways of integrating tech into our lives, South Korea always has like the greatest stuff. So I don't know where they're at with Web3, but maybe something there.
Yeah, you can order a car on your phone and ramen noodles.
Well, pretty much everywhere in Asia, I think everything is so seamless.
Yeah.
Singapore, my gosh, everything was so amazing, seamless there. But anyway, that's Web 2 stuff, and well, not Web 2 stuff. That's before blockchain. So I don't know what they're doing now. But all right, let's. Well, thank you for sharing that, Christopher. And I'm glad that your wallet, your
my paranoia is high.
Oh gosh. Okay, so highlights. Let's go back. Let's move on. Just a reminder, we've got ETH Denver is happening next week, and UpRock team will be there. And by UpRock team, I mean Jesse. And you're going to be at this event hosted by our friends over at DeFi. There's a couple of them, I believe, and you'll be on stage on panel.
Yeah, let me pull this up. So I'll be flying out on Monday. I'll whoever's there, there's a day of DePIN event on the 25th, another one, DePIN Day Denver on the 26th, and there's a Solana Snapshot event on the 27th. So I'll be at all three. There's a DePIN dinner, which is going to, I'm not sure who's going to show up to that thing, but that's on Thursday too. And I'm there to, basically we're going to do a soft launch with Prism. We have about a dozen partners. Really excited about that. Just super busy over the weekend to get those all up and live. We're doing status pages powered by DePIN over the weekend, and so this will be it's pretty exciting. So I'll be there entire week. On Monday I leave on Saturday.
All right. So if you are going to be over at ETH Denver and you want to meet Jesse, just hit us up on Discord or on X, UpRock, x.com/UpRockCom, or on our Discord. Or in the chat here. And if you don't get a hold of us before then and you are going to be there, just look for the guy with heart glasses or those neon green pixel glasses. Maybe your hat. Maybe you're going to wear a cowboy hat. Oh, did you just put them on?
Yeah.
Here we go. Why don't you model it for the folks so they know what to look out for?
Yeah. These are one of my favorites,
There you go. So you'll see him with that. Or the heart sunglasses.
Wow.
All right. Now we've got, all this talk about the past few weeks, and I don't have to say anything by name, but what happened in the last week. A lot of people I think are just ready for something more substantial. They want to get hashtag back to utility. And what's been at the top of that, the top of the list on that, I feel like it's been DePIN. And so, this is like the time for like real builders, real products are coming out, real utility. We're seeing all of these great products that are projects that have been in development for the past couple of years are starting to come to fruition and being, we're getting releases. And anyway, it's a very exciting time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I still think we're early. I mean, it's only been a few weeks since Trump won, and we are in the first time ever a US is actually pro crypto. I think people were so excited about it that there's a lot of people who took advantage of that excitement and launched a bunch of coins and just rugged people the past few weeks, which sucks. But we are still really early with how things are this year. So I'm still really bullish, excited about it. We're still getting new contracts, getting revenue, even though things are down pretty bad. You guys notice the buyback and burns work. You guys can see even our charts, like it actually makes an impact. You can tell today. Everything else is down. We're growing, and so that really matters. So fundamentals, utility, actually making real revenue, all those things matter. And we tie it back to the token. That's how we work. And so we're really excited about it. And I think it's good that the founder of Solana calls that out a little bit here. Like, hey guys, memes are fun, but let's talk about like what kind of actual real use cases and problems are we solving? And DePIN is one amazing use case for crypto. Yeah, actually, crypto's only way enables DePIN, because all these microtransactions around the world that are borderless only possible with crypto, right? So yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah. I feel like folks are just ready for, like you said, meme coins are fun, but let's get back to work, because there's a lot of really great stuff to be had. So yeah, I feel the vibe changing.
I have to say, I'm always the one who says that I love holidays the most, because that's one extra day I get up on everybody who takes the holiday. And that's kind of how I feel about this whole thing. Everybody who's been distracted with memes and everything else, that's fine with me. We've been just quietly grinding away and building great stuff in the meantime.
Oh yeah, I know that one of your favorite commercials from a few years ago. What was it? Was it Chrysler?
I think it was that Cadillac one about
Cadillac. Yeah. And folks, if you don't know this commercial, but anyway, it's this guy, American guy, he's talking about this American car, and talks about the hard work of Americans. Like, we'll never take vacations. Anyway, I know, Christopher, that was a really fun one, but I feel like you like that one a lot.
I did. It's, anyway, but yeah, it's definitely, time to get back to work. And that's, I think we're seeing here, look, there's been a little bit of a pullback, unsurprisingly. People are sort of pausing and going, oh my gosh, there's been a lot of this and that going on. But the reality is there are a ton of great DePIN companies and great DePIN products that are being built on Solana that aren't going anywhere. And they really are enabled by the blockchain. And Solana is still a really great blockchain. So I think, I think on the one hand, maybe it was time to let just a little bit of hot air out of some of the balloons. But at the same time, they're going to go back up in all likelihood, probably in the future, because it didn't need to be that much let out, just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, crypto never sleeps. And it's just like, now let's work on something. You see, we're not sleeping anyway. So let's work on something else. Let's work on utility now. So happy to see it, Shade. Happy to see it. All right. Now let's get into, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about with the state of events. Otherwise, we'll get into some product updates. Speaking of never sleeping, Jesse, I think there was a comment about how you look tired. So I think maybe there you go. Proof. Jesse never sleeps.
Yeah, Jesse needs to turn on his audio too.
All right. First of all, I'm half Asian, so just my eyes are always like this. So rude. No, no, yeah. Actually, we're pretty excited. Startup life, right? So I'm actually constantly busy with this, especially up to events. We are really trying hard to have as many launch partners for our DePIN, our uptime status pages. So we've had quite a few say, let's go, and we're going to create these public status pages. And we're trying to make it look really awesome. So we just, pulling a few all-nighters to get it done, because I fly out Monday. But but thanks a lot for bringing it up.
Rude.
Yeah.
Well, see, you don't have the benefit. I mean, you could if you wanted to. The benefit of like foundation, full coverage foundation, and eyeliner and mascara.
Hold on, I can do
this like this. That's why I don't look as tired as I really am, because I have a full beat.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. We've got.
No, you're all good. McQuaid, you're all good, man.
Yeah, so yeah, I was about to say, now you're making people feel uncomfortable. You don't know what our
Yeah.
we're brutal with each other on in joking back and forth, and we might be
Yeah.
letting a little bit too much of that bleed into public calls. There's a great question here though that really ties into what we were just talking about from Jejasberry, about, so in what ways does UpRock plan to expand its DePIN powered AI, and how does UpRock plan to differentiate itself? So, this really goes right to what we're doing. So that's why I think we've shown already, and we're about to show some more, our Prism product, which we're launching just right around the corner here, and we've been working very hard to get launch partners set up for, which is an actually useful product that Web2 and Web3 companies can use today. So one of the challenges with, I think, that some Web3 products have is they're trying to build sort of a very abstruse, a very abstract base piece. And then they finish it, and it's not necessarily easy to use. Certainly, it's not one click. It's something that maybe requires a lot of coding and other infrastructure to tie it all together into a product. So our focus in that regard is very much on having something that people can just go use. Just point your browser to our site and start using it. And of course, we're going to support API versions and self-hosted and all that kind of stuff. But the core product is around being able to get people using it right away and easily without too much work. So that's to answer to the second part of your question. The answer to your first part of your question is just as we talked about earlier in the call about making Web3 really easy and accessible, and taking the best of user accessibility and user interaction that we as an industry and that we as developers have learned over many years, and bringing that to Web3 so that it's very easy to use.
And by the way, check this out.
Yeah, I think
We always say like all LLM models are like a genius baby that lives in the basement, has no idea what's happening in the real world. And if once you have one agent that does some amazing thing for you while you sleep, you're going to want like a whole swarm of them to work for you while you sleep. Today, it cannot actually crawl the internet like you think it can. And if you try ChatGPT and the rest of them, it really cannot do that. Actually, Elon Musk just, I'm going to post this real quick. Check this out. He just posted it today. Grok has real-time knowledge. Big difference. Yes, totally big difference. Every single LLM model you use cannot crawl the internet. So obviously Elon Musk Grok can only crawl to X, right? But if Grok really wants to be amazing, it needs not just crawl X real-time data, but also there's internet's bigger than just X. There's so much stuff out there, so much websites that it cannot do. And if you really, and like I said, if you really want to have superior insights and be able to know what's happening in the world, whatever trend, product, whatever you're trying to look for, and you want your agent to be able to have superhuman, super crawl experience and bring back the data you want to make whatever you want to distill and make decisions on, it needs to crawl the internet. And that glue is missing. This is the future that's coming. And yeah, so this is really interesting because this is why in the Web2 space, there's proxies. And it just, and then also there's VPNs to unblock the internet, but that's not good enough. You really need millions of people to help unblock the internet for each other. Just the world's knowledge, the world should benefit. And DePIN is the only way I see, we see really the only way we're going to have this wonderful internet where everyone can have their own AI agent that work for you needs to be able to crawl the internet at crazy scale and not get blocked. And so anyway, I thought it was a good post. It just happened today. So this is true. We know this as real. Like it's annoying when your AI model says I don't have data from till 2024. Like why would you trust an AI agent that cannot crawl the real-time stuff? You just know this is stale information now, right? You want to know that, okay, I know exactly what happened up to the minute, right? So, yep.
Yep. All right, cool. So now let's get into, anyway, thanks for sharing that, guys. And then let's get into the product updates. Sorry, I didn't have a good segue.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking, guys. Now skip it.
It's like, cool. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I got a little distracted. I didn't think of a good segue there. Anyway, let's get into the product updates.
Yep. Let's go.
So, okay, let's see. We've got here. This is first off, we have an Android update, right? Did you guys download the new Android update? Is anyone using it?
So
I
there's
know some of you. I know
I know
some of
you
you
guys
didn't
are.
because
You two are.
well, but I know some people didn't because I was just looking at some performance data this morning, and I saw quite a bit of quite a few check-ins from older versions still. But I also saw quite a few check-ins from the new version. So some of you
Good.
did get the update.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. All
No,
right.
the-
Well, if
the
you haven't
update-
done it yet, please download the new,
Yeah.
update your application and get the new UpRock.
Yeah, it actually improves a lot of the bugs that we had around the play to earn program.
Mhm.
So that was awesome. And then the fixes do help because we just saw an uptick in the revenue for play to earn, which we'll use to buy back UPT. So that was cool. Hey, I just got a question on are there legal issues around scraping? There are. But again, crypto is going to make this a lot easier to solve because what's going to probably happen is some sites are going to do paywalls or like a rev share model where you have to like pay us to scrape. That's already happening. I think some bigger companies like Reddit will do that. But if you think about just microtransactions of pieces of content, like how you actually enable that really, it's going to be crypto. It's the best way to do so. So I think it'll solve that problem. I think some companies are going to block the internet, but the market will win because if you just close down sites with paywalls or some kind of gate, consumers will hate that. It's a horrible user experience. So I think more people are going to want to open things up. So if you open it up, more free flow of information data is important, but you also want attribution and be fair with who created the content. I mean, it's good. Helps with that, right? It will actually help more than not. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, depending on the jurisdiction you're in, this varies a little bit. But there has also been a fair amount of case law that has developed that information that's publicly available is publicly available, and that there are real limits to being able to say that you can only access it in the one context but not another, or something like that. So honestly, we actually think that's very important for UpRock, but that very much applies to us as well. If you want to Google into some of this, there's quite a bit of interesting discussion from the Electronic Frontiers Foundation and others about this. But suffice it to say, possibly not as much of a problem actually as you would think.
Yeah, it's like public don't when you're out in public, reasonable right to privacy when you're in public. I think the same probably applies when it comes to what you post publicly online.
And everyone's going to want to do it. Every business, every prosumer, every individual is going to want to be able to have their AI agents crawl the internet. Every company on earth and every person on earth is going to want to do that because otherwise you'll be at a disadvantage. If your agent cannot crawl the internet and actually get real-time data, you'll be at a disadvantage. Everyone's going to push for it. So you just want to be fair and maybe do some rev share models. And it's going to be more messy because we're already like remixing things constantly. TikTok started it. There's open source. The open source culture is all about remixing. You take someone's code, you build on it. How many times do you actually start doing rev share when it gets remixed over and over and over again? And AI is just kind of regenerating things over and over again too. But even all those things, if you're going to constantly do rev share, like those microtransactions over time, still only best way to do that is crypto. Yeah. So anyway, but we're gonna push for it. I think that overall the internet's gonna always benefit. It's more open and free flow of data, and people are gonna choose that way because otherwise, you don't want to close the internet. I think the market will win there. So
and so Mike shares that this was a big discussion in the All In Pod recently, and that's just a quick plug. If you guys have not listened to this podcast, the All In podcast, it's a wonderful podcast that's every week.
I don't know what the story with the All In podcast is. It's like the brain slugs from Futurama. Everybody in the goddamn valley is listening to the All In podcast, and it's all they talk about. It's all they fucking talk about. The next person who tells me about the All In podcast in person is going to get a bop on the nose.
So wait, is it like the new vegan? It's like,
you guys know, it's all anybody talks about. It's all anybody talks about. Are you serious right now?
So anyway, I'm like the new vegan, right? Like, how do you know if someone listens to All In? Don't worry, they'll tell you about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's a great podcast.
It's like being a pilot. How do you know if somebody's a pilot? Don't worry, they'll introduce themselves.
By the way, Christopher, do you have something to introduce about yourself?
Yeah, I don't listen to the All In podcast.
He's also a pilot.
And if I don't, somebody else will.
It's just maybe this could be our goal though. Like, what if one day
Yeah.
were talking about the UpRock weekly calls, like we talk about All In.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to probably work a bit on my hosting skills.
If people are ever talking about the UpRock weekly calls in public, it's probably because we just let our foul mouths run ahead of us a little bit too much. But anyway.
Yeah, I think you two are more at risk of that than me. Actually, I might have cursed more on this podcast or this stream than you guys have.
Yeah.
All right, so Mauro, you do ask a question here about how does UpRock plan to differentiate itself from other DePIN projects in terms of scalability, incentives, and long-term sustainability. Now, this is actually similar to one of the questions that we have asked our community for this week's, what I'm calling an AYA, and Ask You Anything, where we propose 15 questions and we ask people to share their answers. And this is very similar to one of them. So let's get back to this a bit later, because we're going to talk more about the AYA or AYA.
Yeah.
Reverse AMA. So we'll talk about that in a bit more. But that's a great question, which is similar to one of the questions we proposed. So we'll
great question.
Further.
Yep.
All right. Now, enough about All In. Enough about. Let's see. Let's just get back to the Android update real quick. So we have the Android or the product updates. We have the Android update that's out. If you have not already installed it, I really encourage you to do so. Because we had the games on there, right? And now the games has an update to it. It's a much better experience and interface on that. We are also doing an Are You Up and Rockin' quick survey. So go check that out as well. And we have notifications. Well, we've already had these for a while, but on iOS in particular, we've introduced the notifications. This was a couple of weeks ago. And the reason why this is important is because a lot of the earning tasks, like these are things that are running in the background. You don't have to have your phone on, but there's issues with iOS, right? It doesn't always run in the background, or it will die. It will kill it, which is not the kind of problem we have on Android. So to help mitigate that, we now have also these notifications, just kind of a reminder, like, hey, open the app real quick, so you don't have any interruptions in your background, right? So you can continue earning, you can continue running tasks. And of course, if you don't really want those, you don't care about that. Although I think if you have UpRock, you do care about it running in the background. You could turn off the notifications, but those are the two mobile app updates we have. Any other news on the mobile update or mobile apps, you guys, that I missed?
Well, in the beta tester group for iOS, you can also people are help testing staking. So we're finally bringing native staking to our native applications. iOS coming first, and then Android soon, very soon. So
yes,
it's looking pretty good. We're cleaning up the wallet UI a little bit. It got a little too complicated where we had like 4 different types of wallets, and it was just confusing. So we're simplifying that. And we'll enable staking, which is great for the token too, right? We want to incentivize people to be long-term holders. So we're just testing that out. Looking pretty good. And I think we'll, probably send it to reviewer in a couple of days, and maybe next live stream we'll have it live. So
the staking works great. So I had it on test flight, and I'm staking. I staked using through the iPhone app. That's just perfect. The only issue was just like more of interface stuff on the main wallet screen. That was it. So it's wonderful. It's coming out shortly, and so keep your eyes peeled for that. Before we move on to other updates, Mauro, you had a question about here we go. That's the wrong one I'm highlighting here. Are games different in each region? Yes, they are highlighted by region. So if you're in the US, like I am, you might get a game that I can't see, and vice versa. I am curious if you guys are playing games, what you're playing. So last month we had some insight on like the most popular games that people were using for the past few months, and a lot of them were like casino games, blackjack games, slot games.
Well, but we're also
merge games. I love those.
We're also working to add more partners for this. So this has been an experiment for us that started a couple months ago. First, we built it, found out what people liked, and then we heard a lot of feedback about what was frustrating about the process, not seeing certain claim actions and so on. So we've totally revamped that. In the meantime, we're also working on bringing on more partners, because we see that in general people do like this, which means that we need to bring on more inventory.
Yes.
And and so so the reality is, every we a lot of the partners that we find for this are in fact kind of regional, like they'll tend to specialize in one region. So we're going to be adding more. We're going to be adding more spice to this too, more partners to the mix, and that should hopefully in regions where it is pretty slim, that should bring more options.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And on iOS, we have the cashback deals. And that
Honestly,
will be coming.
when we have like 3 or 4 partners, like the folks that we're talking to, they have a pretty good wide range of inventory of apps and games, which is awesome because a lot of these apps and games are apps that you've already downloading. So if you're already going to use it, might as well get paid a little bit for it, honestly, right?
Yeah.
Like some of these are really like popular offers, and we just you don't realize like these companies are really willing to pay some revenue to get these installs and get people to try their app. So might as well get paid for it. So the more partners we bring on, the better, and and then people around the world can actually take advantage and get some earnings. Yep.
Yeah. And one of the things we've been discussing internally as well is maybe a way of making it easier to actually show you the things that are relevant for you. So especially with the cashback offers and stuff, working on trying to figure out ways of making it really seamless for you to be able to kind of go in and somehow make it really easy so that when an offer becomes available for something you're interested in, we can show you like, hey, if you're gonna spend money at this store anyway, just click here and now you're actually earning rewards for it. So
Rocket will do that for us.
As a reminder, folks, the reason why this is also important too, one, because it's fun and it's more revenue, but if take a look at our tokenomics, I'm highlighting it again here on the screen, but every time that we're bringing in revenue, right, that's going back towards buyback and to buying back and burning. So it's really good. Like we want to bring this revenue and it helps feed this ecosystem. It's not just lining our pockets. It ties into the whole tokenomics. So go check that out if you haven't done so already. And I know I bring that up quite a bit. So if you listen regularly, you probably already know this.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's go into other updates. We've got Prism updates here. As Jess mentioned, we have been working on, so we have ETH Denver, and I don't know if you mentioned this, but we have a soft launch coming up, right? And you mentioned, Jesse, some soft launch partners, a list of partners for this.
Yeah, so we'll have like probably about a dozen. So we're just working through the weekend to get them done. But the product's looking really great. We have kind of regular stuff. We have regular uptime working. Basically centralized version, which is, pinging servers. We have the distributed version through the DePIN network. We have page speed tests. We're also going to have Docker monitoring, infrastructure monitoring, just regular like infrastructure. Yeah. And we'll have incident reports. So we got one grant winner to actually help us move faster on not just having email alerts, but let's say Slack integrations and a bunch of different protocols like PagerDuty. These are like different ways a developer team wants to know when the site is down, how fast you get it. So there's many ways to be alerted, right? Whether it's Slack, SMS, email. So that's a big part of uptime monitoring. You want to be able to respond quickly. And so we have an awesome grant winner to help us move there. By the way, the whole the uptime service with the Blue Wave team, I think 25% of the commits are from third parties. This is the power of open source. Actually, I think that's what Dr. Gorkum said. It was like 25% of the commits are coming from outside parties, which is great. It's a really popular repo. So first step is like we'll have so next week we're gonna have some public status pages. It looks awesome. So you guys are gonna see it next week. It looks, it's amazing looking. And then a few weeks from now, it's going to be invite only because we just want our partners. So again, if any companies are listening, if you guys want to try it out, we'd love to get your feedback, but it's going to be invite right now. And then over the next few weeks, we'll allow anyone to actually create an account and try it out and have a free tier and a paid tier. So,
yeah. So that's very exciting. Prism updates. I'm really excited to show you guys the public status pages, but it's a little early this week. So I guess I'll just have to wait, but it's really cool. I think, just looking at a lot of status pages, they can be kind of the same.
Boring. You're boring.
Okay, I try to be diplomatic, but yeah. And I think this one that we have is it's not that. So
Yeah.
very excited to show you that next week. All right. And then let's go on to, well, okay. Anything else on Prism before we move on, guys?
No, I think that's
No.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
It,
hey.
it
Oh, by
looks
the way,
it
real
looks
quick.
great though. It's really looking great. And Jesse, I love the new. So you've got some new designs. We need to show those off next week, but they're looking really, really good.
Yeah, we'll actually show live ones with our launch partners. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yep,
That was
yep.
really great. And we got Dr. Gorkum in the house.
Hey.
And he says we have about 50 outside contributors.
Isn't that
and I
awesome?
expect
Power
the
of
same
open
with
source.
Prism in a few months.
Yeah, that's the power of open source right there. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so to the topic of the week, hashtag back to utility. So we tweeted this out yesterday. We want you to set the tone this time. So internally, we're like, oh, this is kind of like a reverse AMA, or instead of an ask me anything, it's an ask you anything, and anything being these 15 questions. And so we posted up these 15 questions. And Mara, one of your questions was very similar to one of these ones. And so we post up these 15 questions. We ask you to give us a reply, and we're going to select our favorites for each one. And the ones that we select will get 1,000 UPT. And then the very best one of those 15 will get a dePioneers NFT. So some of the questions that we have here are, what are the biggest gaps in DePIN adoption today, and how can projects onboard the next wave of users? Mm-hmm. The other question is, how will UpRock's B2B powerhouse Prism make the biggest impact, and how does it stand out from traditional infrastructure providers? Okay. Third question is, how will AI rely on decentralized networks like UpRock to assess real world data? The fourth is, how can DePIN make AI smarter and more decentralized? What's the most exciting DePIN and AI use case you can think of?
That's a fun one.
What makes UpRock's tokenomics different from other DePIN projects? How do we ensure a sustainable token economy amid market cycles? How can UpRock's Contribute to Earn program evolve to drive deeper engagement? And lastly, where do you see UpRock in 2025, and what will be its biggest milestones? And I gotta say, guys, we got a lot of incredible replies, both on Discord, on X. I mean, it's just been really insightful. It's just like very thoughtful replies, and I thank everybody for sharing their thoughts. Mm-hmm. You guys got a lot of really. You guys have been thinking deeply about a lot of stuff, and so I'm very glad that these set of questions were asked to you, because clearly there's a lot that you have to share, and you've been thinking deeply about. And also, I want to give a huge thanks to the mods and the Rocketeers for going through all of the replies and putting together, ordering them up for us. And even with all that, there are just so many. I gotta say, I was just reading through a lot of them that the mods were sharing with us, and I'm having a hard time picking my favorite right now.
Yeah, actually, we were going to try to pick some people today, but there's so many, we got a little overwhelmed. So, mm-hmm. But we will. I think we're going to do is after this call, we need to go through them together, because they kind of flooded in over the last 24 hours. So we're going to choose them and just kind of like highlight the ones we like, and then we'll DM you over the day. So but we should answer a couple.
Did I say 15? Did I say 15 questions? I'm sorry. It's 7 questions. Yeah, 7 questions. I don't know where I got 15 from, but yeah, it was 7 questions, which I just read off.
But I think, okay, let's go over the one. Let's just do one now, because we got that in the comments. Let's just go over like how we differentiate.
I love how you're doing that. I also love Drew's response. Oh, thank you so much for your thoughtful replies. Drew's like, they were supposed to be thoughtful. I love Drew. You are never changed. Drew is like our resident jokester. You make me laugh every stream. Thank you. Okay, Jesse, go ahead.
Yeah. What differentiates? I think, okay, well, we have a two-sided business, and honestly, in the crypto space, we also have to run our own crypto bank. So it's like its own entity as well. And this is the challenge of every crypto startup. But so we'll separate those two. On the consumer side, so we have the supply and demand. Supply side, I think where we differentiate ourselves compared to other DePINs is we've always known, like very early, that just say download our app and earn our tokens. I think that's like an interesting hook, but that would never be good enough long term. We kind of just knew that. And this is why we always say we're building the world's best reward program. It's got to be more than just earn token. Like that story is just, if it just ends there, it won't survive long term, I think. You need to be able to say, okay, earn token and do something useful with it. What that means, like, can you use those tokens to stake, redeem? Can you swap them for deals? What else can you do with it and actually get and unlock other value out of the mine tokens and get more out of it? So this is why we spend a lot of time having the play to earn games, doing the surveys, doing the shop to earn. So that means our team is, since we're thinking about this early, we're figuring things out faster than other companies in DePIN. They're not even thinking about this at all. Their entire app is simple, just earn token and that's it. We're actually spending a lot of time figuring out how to get people to earn more, do more with it. And I think it comes down, any good reward program comes down to good program and good policy. So with what policy means, like what happens on a bad day, how do we help you make sure you have a good experience? And then good programs, like how do we deliver you good value, good deals? How do we make that faster? We think about AI more. We actually think about, I think, AI, how to integrate that into our apps very early on compared to other companies too. Well, I don't think it's a gimmick. I really think it's going to transform every single UI on Earth very soon, because you're just going to be able to talk to the computer like a human, which today you can't. It doesn't feel like that. So that's one side. On the B2B side, I think where we're shining is we're also just, it's not our first rodeo. So I think where a lot of crypto companies can hurt themselves is they try to plan too much, or like some big castle in the sky kind of program, and they have this huge, like they promise like it's going to be this huge decentralized network and we're going to have watchtowers and validators and blah, blah. And then like 5 years later, they still have nothing built, like Cardano, right? And we're very, we're entrepreneurs. We think big, but we're also good, excellent operators. We know how to build a business. We're very practical. And so I think this is why we can move faster on things like Prism and do things with open source communities to move faster. So yeah, I think those are two areas where our team, specific our skills, are really strong. So like we know how to build highly rated consumer app programs, which is the supply side. We also know how to build infrastructure and large-scale mobile platforms, because we had a VPN business and we sold that, and that's really like building an infrastructure company. And so those two skills are going to allow UpRock to succeed.
Yeah.
Well, and I want to add, I'll actually give you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes. When we first started talking about games, this is an example of somewhere where, especially when it comes to the consumer side, that is to say how, end users interact with our app, we had a lot of discussion about this, because we said, we are really focused on the use case of generating data for AI and building this great experience, but so we had to ask ourselves, because we had this idea and it seemed like it would be great for our customers. It would be something they would like to do, and it would bring a lot of value that we could then use to buy back the tokens to make them more valuable for all of our users. And so that's why we decided to do it, because it's, we said even almost a year ago when we first started talking about this publicly, that building a great rewards program is more than just about dribbling out tokens for passive activities. It's about making it really rewarding as a whole ecosystem. And we're going to have more things coming on that, where ways to redeem the tokens and so on. But it's really about focusing on using the power of our community, which is what we really did here. We were able to go to game providers and say, hey, we have a lot of users who have trusted us. We want great offers that bring real value for them. And by having that sort of power of the masses, power of the community, we're able to get good offers, which are now, if you go check our tokenomics, you will see we have finally started daily or almost daily buybacks. And so that's a really important piece of kind of closing the circle on this. So it's to answer the question specifically, how are we differentiating ourselves? The answer is we're focusing on really bringing value to our users, and that means that in some ways we're maybe more flexible. We're not, a great opportunity like games came along and we jumped on it. But in other ways, how are we sustainable? you will not see us sponsoring conferences or splashing out to send people to the moon or anything like that, because we are really, really focused on building a business that can be run affordably, so that we can do it for a long time. If you look at our tokenomics, a lot of tokenomics maybe anticipate, timelines in terms of weeks or months. Our tokenomics, our emission schedule for mining is for 10 years. And so we really planned for how we're going to be running this for the long term, as well.
By the way, we're like mobile first is in our DNA. Our first successful tech company was a mobile app store. It's called MyCandy. And also the Tenta browser was a mobile first browser. That was the first fully encrypted mobile browser that we sold to Avast. And so a lot of crypto companies also tend not to be mobile first because mobile is hard and crypto experiences on mobile suck. They're just bad experience. Like the fact that we're still using a web extension for wallets is suck. I mean, most wallets, browser extensions suck, really. And we're all just kind of used to it. We just put up with it, but it's a horrible experience. And even just mobile wallets are bad, and crypto on mobile is bad. But it's just in our DNA. So we're solving problems on mobile, moving fast. The restraints of a mobile device, it's just we know how to handle that very well. And this is where all the customers are. This is where everyone's mobile first. AI is coming to your phone. We just understand that world very, very well, which is why we move a lot faster on that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we are the largest mobile first mobile DePIN on, I think, and not just Solana, maybe any crypto network. Yeah, we get thousands of installs daily. We don't pay for any ads. Just people find us because look, they're looking for a reward program. They see our ratings. They see it actually works. It's not a gimmick. You install it. You say, oh, cool, I can actually earn something here. And that's also a big deal. Is that we are. We've been mobile first for so long, so we know how to build our own traffic, build our own distribution, and actually deliver these tasks. By the way, some of the stuff we're doing too, the customers we have like DATS and others, some of the cybersecurity tests, the scraping tasks. You guys, everyone assumes like this is all possible mobile. A lot of stuff we're building is not out there. It's like all very new. It's like a lot of the stuff that works great. There's a huge scraping community that knows how to do this on desktop, but a lot of those open source projects are really just for our desktop, for the browser on the desktop. Very few are actually optimized for Android, and nothing really is out there for iPhone. It's just hard to get through the App Store. So a lot of stuff we're doing is pretty brand new, actually. That's because it's hard to do on a lot of the stuff on mobile, like just cybersecurity tasks, orchestrating that across millions of devices, making sure the payments go out through crypto. So this is why, like, being able to do it right, not promise some crazy thing that takes us 3 years, or in the age of AI, you really have to like plan quarters, not even a year. You have to like, what can we get done in the next 2 or 3 months, and just that fast. But at the end of the day, we know we can play in the space with data. That is not going to go away, and that's powerful. So anyway, I think this is where we shine. Like, you guys will see over the next quarter how fast we're moving on Prism and the problems we're solving, and it's going to be open source, so you can see the cool stuff we're doing with the Blue Wave team and other open source contributors.
Yeah. Well, so are there any other specific questions you guys want to, maybe we should answer, give our own words on? I know we asked everyone for their words, the community for their answers to this. Is there anything you guys want to specifically answer?
No, I think I was actually like you, somewhat overwhelmed and very pleased by the number of answers we actually got to this.
Yeah.
So let's go over those throughout the rest of the day, highlight some of the ones we really like, reach out to some people. And I think we're almost at time here. So we'll Jen, you tell me, have we cut off submissions, or can people still?
Submissions are done. So
Okay.
So if you
we'll go through it all today.
Submit something and it's verbatim what these two just said, it's already done. No more submission. I mean, you can submit, absolutely, but for being qualified for the 1,000 UPT and in the running for a dePioneers NFT, unfortunately, that ended at the beginning of this live stream. So, but if you still want to share your thoughts, we are all ears. So, okay, yeah, we are almost at an hour. So what we'll do, like I said, is we're going to share on our X, so x.com/UpRock.com. We'll share a tweet per question and then our favorite response. And if you are highlighted, you get 1,000 UPT. And and then we'll announce who we think is the overall best in show. And then maybe next week, I think it'd be good to maybe possibly we bring some of these. We'll highlight some of these again on the stream next week, and we can go even deeper into it because like there's some really great insight here. One in particular, like we just talked about the contribute to earn program. I mean, that's insight that it's like we need your insight for that because you're the ones who are part of the program. So that I really like the submissions on that. So we'll talk more about it next week. But keep your eyes peeled on X. Again, really, thank you so much for all the awesome answers. And thank you so much to the mods for helping us, gather all of this and put it together because couldn't do it without you guys. I think that, it was a lot of great stuff. So really happy to have all these eyes on it.
Yep. For sure. Okay, cool.
Let's see. Anyway, let me check the comments again before I go. Oh, I just have to highlight this from CDTN Sports UpRock Breast Project DePIN. Thank you. I think so too. It's nice to be seen. All right. And Valum here. Valum actually has you want more folks on these streams. Reward UPT doesn't have to be much. Mechanism may be too complicated. Settle up monthly or quarterly, maybe. Yeah, I mean,
see,
we'd like to have more folks on the stream, absolutely.
But I think this is a great example of kind of our philosophy, and that's the sort of thing that I think a lot of projects would do. And clearly, if we just paid people to show up effectively, they would. But that doesn't really provide anything to the community. That's why when we do rewards, we try to do it for things like contributions, whether it's putting thought into answering these questions or contributing to the Contribute to Earn program and stuff. We really want to stay focused on not just, Oprah style, you get a car and you get a car and you get cocaine and you get a car, but actually, really focus on things that bring value to the whole community. So that when we do this, that it's actually because the wisdom of the masses is clearly a thing, and so that's why we say, okay, we're going to put some value. We're going to give away some value in order to get contributions. We want them to be thoughtful and genuinely. We will read your responses. There are likely to be things in there. There almost certainly are that we haven't thought of before that are going to make everything better.
Yeah. And especially in the crypto space, you guys, if anyone has a startup in crypto, you will know we constantly get ping for people asking us to pay them to be on a spaces or something. Like everyone's trying to get paid for something. So it's kind of sad actually how many podcasts out there charge you to be on there, and it's like you realize how much of it's not organic. It sucks. So we don't want to do that. Yeah, honestly, we really want to create genuine interest, genuine feedback. Not be part of that game. So Contribute to Earn actually has been amazing. It
has been.
Yeah, it's really been good. And it is part of the kind of open source philosophy too. It's like we want to build an open and reward people who are helping, whether it's you're just spending the time to think about the product, think about the business model. It's the same kind of philosophy as you spend some time to write some code for us. We want to reward that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there seems to be a lot of actually great discussion happening in the chat right now about this because it's a lot of agreement what we were just saying, but then also Valum says, well, numbers also bring in more numbers. It's kind of like the ladies' night at the bar. You let the ladies in for free, attracts the guys, and more people in the bar means more money being spent on drinks. So there's a lot of ways to look at this.
I write code during ladies' night at the bar.
What's that?
I write code during ladies' night at the bar.
He actually does.
Okay, nerd.
Dork.
Okay, Mr. Happy Hour.
Yeah, I know, right? And me at home with my cat, like a cat lady. Who are we to talk? But I think there's also things that we can do that maybe not so much as just making the stream itself more interesting. Like we were looking at some live stream while we're doing a live stream, a live poll or doing live quizzes or something like that. There's some software that we can use, or we can also maybe, I don't know, build our own, but I don't know if we want to go all the way down that road. But there's at least solutions that are available where we can actually make the stream more engaging, not just through a chat. Maybe we can make that more fun. Anyway, there's a lot of great stuff. I really encourage you guys, if you're not already on our Discord, to join and then go to the Contribute to Earn program. We already have some folks here in the chat that are in the program, and they're all talking here. And the discussions here are great. They're even better on Discord. And so definitely, please go check that out. as where did I see a mention here from Klaus, bring more people onto the call, share it on the contributor and channel in Discord. Yeah, you saw Klaus last week on our live stream, and he's one of our contributors. Sasha of Alums, they're all there. So please join.
Yeah.
And so we will share again. We'll share our favorites to these 7 questions, not 15. I don't know where that came from. My head was thinking 7, and my mouth said 15. The 7 questions here. We'll share those on X with our favorites. But if you still have more you want to share, just send it over, or better yet, do it on Discord, because that's where the discussion lives in. That's where discussion is strongest, and the community is most very active there. So, anything else, guys?
I think that's it.
We made it to exactly 1 hour and 30 seconds.
Nice.
I feel like I'm becoming a drummer with my timing. I'm getting better.
Point. Yeah.
All right, guys. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, everyone.
Next week, Jesse, you're going to be in Denver. So you are checking in Denver, or are you going to have to?
Yeah, no. So all weekend we're going to work on the launch partner sites. So we're super excited to share which companies are launching with us. I think it's going to be a big deal for us, and doing demos and live in Denver. I'll be doing the live stream from Denver because I'll be there, and I think I'll try to bring some guests on at the show, which should be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And then we want to show. I think people are hungry for showing strong business use cases for DePIN and just crypto in general. So I think timing is perfect for us to have a really awesome launch with these partners. Yeah. So I'm just excited about that. So no sleep for the weekend for us, but all good. It's gonna be a fun launch.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. All right, that's it for the week. We're gonna get back to work, and we will see you on X with those answers, and we'll just see you on Discord and all that stuff.
As always, thanks for spending your Thursday with us. We really appreciate it.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.